to the channel. If you guys are new, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. In today's video, we're going to be working on the Civic SI, and we're going to be replacing the lower control arms. With that being said, let's get into the video. So to be able to remove the lower control arm, we need to remove the sway bar link, then the ball joint. We also need a special removal tool for the ball joint. Then moving towards the inside of the control arm, we also need to remove this front bushing. It's only one bolt, and then moving towards the back is another bushing, which is also another bolt. Removing a control arm on an 8th gen Civic isn't very hard. Just having all the right tools makes the job a lot easier. And one thing I didn't do till later in the video is removing the sway bar. If you guys would like to help the channel, be sure to check out and join the channel's exclusive membership. If that's not your wheelhouse, you can also leave a super thanks, which is a one-time thing and directly helps the channel. One other way you can help is by hitting that like and subscribe button for free. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Let's go. Alright guys, so first I'm going to begin by removing the sway bar link. For me it was a bit hard to remove, so I used an impact to break it loose. And after that, to remove the nut, I used the ratcheting wrench and an Allen key, and that got it done. To remove the ball joint nut, it's as simple as removing the cotter pin and breaking loose the nut. Once you've broken free the nut, you won't be able to remove it completely since the axle's in the way. So from here, we need to disconnect the ball joint from the spindle with the special removal tool. But for now, we'll leave it like that and move to the next thing, which is the control arm front bushing. With the impact gun, that'll be easy work. Then we can remove the rear bushing, which can be easily done with the swivel head ratchet or universal joints. Or if you want more room to work with, you can remove the sway bar. And just like that, we're done with one side. We just need to remove the ball joint from the spindle, and I'll show how I did that later in the video. But for now, I'm going to move on to the other side and get that done. Like I mentioned earlier, here I have the ball joint removal tool. Unfortunately, the parts store only had the manual version. I would have preferred the nice ball joint separator. It would have made the job so much easier. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. So I hammered away till something happened. ball joint decides to drop down, you can remove the nut and drop down the entire lower control arm assembly. Usually once you break free the ball joint, it shouldn't be this hard to remove from the spindle, so I decided to remove the 3 fasteners from the ball joint and the lower control arm after I was able to wiggle out the ball joint. Now I'm just going to remove the sway bar so it's easier to remove the lower control arm, and just by removing these bolts on each side, the sway bar will drop down. With the sway bar out the way, we can fish out the lower control arm. If you struggle, use a pry bar to make it easier. Dropping down the sway bar, the passenger side lower control arm was actually a lot easier to remove than the driver's side. With the lower control arms out the way, I'm going to give the wheel wells a quick rinse since you never know when you'll be back down here. Alright you guys, now that we got everything ready to go, we're going to install the new lower control arms. But before we do that, I'm going to separate the ball joint from the lower control arm just to make the installation a little bit easier. Once I had the control arm in place, I used a hammer to line everything up, and with a few taps, I was able to get the bolts back in place. With the lower control arm secured, I can attach the ball joint and then mate it up to the spindle. Attaching the ball joint back to the spindle isn't very hard. The only hard thing about it was making sure the ball joint was seated properly, and for that I just used the jack to lift up the lower control arm. After that, you can just fasten the nut and install the cotter pin. Alright guys, we're almost done. We just need to complete the other side, install the sway bar, and torque everything down. guys, that pretty much concludes today's video. If you guys did find it helpful or informative, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.